Usted no tiene idea de lo que ese decreto nos hizo. Fue tan fuerte la cuestión, lo que nosotros vivimos en ese momento, porque ya no veíamos al pasado, a la represión, a la lucha por todo.
In the United States, the broadcast media carried the same pictures and the same story used to justify the coup.
The Bush administration made it clear it is happy with the change in leadership in the country responsible for 15% of America's oil imports. Anthony Mason has our report.
In the end, this is what triggered the overthrow of Hugo Chavez. Armed gangs loyal to the Venezuelan president firing on thousands of anti-government protesters. After 16 people were killed and hundreds wounded, last night soldiers surrounded the presidential palace.
At the White House, the spokesman of President Bush rubber-stamped the story.
Let me share with you the administration's thoughts about what's taking place in Venezuela. We know that the action encouraged by the Chavez government provoked this crisis. The Chavez government suppressed peaceful demonstrations, fired on unarmed peaceful protesters, resulting in 10 killed and 100 wounded. That is what took place, and a transitional civilian government has been installed.
Back in Venezuela, 3 years of modest democratic reform had been overturned.
Afortunadamente tenemos una gran arma, que son los medios de comunicación. Si ustedes, el pueblo venezolano vio hoy, el ejército ni la Fuerza Armada hizo un disparo. Todo esto fue nuestras armas fueron los medios de comunicación.
The plotters and their friends had everything to celebrate, or so they thought. The next morning, distraught people began phoning one of the independent radio stations still broadcasting.
Que tanto nos ha costado a los venezolanos. Me duele el alma por mi hijo, por mi hija, por los nietos, por toda esta juventud que va a quedar a la deriva de nuevo, en las manos de los arecos y los copellanos corruptos que llevaron a este país al caos total, sin moral.
Se fue la esperanza de un pueblo, se fue la Constitución, se fue la democracia, se fue la esperanza de los niños.
But hope had not gone. The truth began to emerge that the resignation of Hugo Chavez had been faked. His wife, Maria, confirmed this in a call to the radio station.
Me dijo, aún después de muerto, quiero que logres que los organismos internacionales le hagan una prueba de grafología a esa firma, si es que existe, porque yo nunca firmé eso.
And the people in the barrios started to fight back. Down from the shanties they came to rescue their president.
The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away.
Esto es una dictadura, queremos a Chávez. Chávez es el presidente de Venezuela y el pueblo lo ama y lo vamos a defender.
No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong.
Hundreds of thousands surrounded the palace, demanding the return of Chavez. Faced by such people power, the army turned.
Es que, desde el punto de vista militar, toda la Fuerza Armada, el 98% de la Fuerza Armada en todo el país, ha reafirmado, ha reiterado su lealtad a la Constitución vigente en Venezuela, a la Constitución de la República Bolivariana de Venezuela.
Roared on by huge crowds, the presidential guard who had gone into hiding retook the palace, and the plotters fled.
Los muchachos, los policías militares que estaban dentro de Miraflores, empezaron a levantar la bandera. eso también nos dio más fuerza todavía a que no estábamos solos. Y ahí nos quedamos hasta que empezó a venir un helicóptero. Venía un helicóptero a medianoche que llegó a Miraflores y ahí sabíamos que venía Chávez. Eso fueron una hora de gloria para nosotros en vez que llegaba.
Just 48 hours after being kidnapped, Chávez was back in power.
Creo que la prueba suprema fue el golpe de Estado de abril 2002. Fui hecho prisionero, me llevaron, pensé que iba a morir. Ahora el pueblo venezolano, los pobres, sin armas, se fueron por cientos de miles a las calles, por millones, a pedir por mi vida y a pedir que vuelva Chávez. Entonces a mí no me queda más nada, después de eso sobre todo, que dedicarle todo lo que me quede de vida a ese pueblo, sobre todo a los más necesitados, sobre todo a los más pobres.
As ordinary Venezuelans celebrated the defense of their democracy, some of the leading plotters fled to Miami, and within days it was clear that Washington had cast its shadow over the failed coup. The Bush administration had gone along with the lies of the plotters.
We know that the action encouraged by the Chavez government provoked this crisis.
As these CIA documents show, it was fully warned and knew all about their conspiracy. Washington claims that it warned Chavez about the coup. This is denied by the Venezuelan government. Washington not only knew what was going on, it was backing and funding the coup indirectly. Documents recently released show that the Bush administration channeled millions of dollars to the Venezuelan opposition in the months leading up to the coup. The money was handed out by its principal aid agency, USAID, and an organization called the National Endowment for Democracy.
During the 6-month period prior to the coup in April 2002, the U.S. government invested more than $2 million into financing these organizations that they knew at least 6 months before were planning to overthrow the government.
You're essentially saying post hoc ergo propter hoc. Because it happened
I don't think our viewers will understand that. If you could translate that.
Just because it happened after we provided support to these groups doesn't mean that it happened because we provided support to these groups. Yeah. It is a logical fallacy. Right. We would be very open and transparent about what kind of support we provided through the National Endowment for Democracy and other institutions.
In fact, the National